Coming to you live down the interwebs. It's the fully charged Johnny and Bobby show. Sir, ma'am, and any genetically engineered life forms that happen to be wandering by, there appears to be a new podcast in the download tubes.
Welcome to the Fully Charged podcast. Here are just a few highlights of what to expect in this particular episode. Robert brings a beloved segment back to the show.
I've got two apologies of the week.
Johnny proposes a romantic weekend.
So can we get some sort of very lightweight, small, intimate Swedish caravan?
And Johnny wants to reduce the length of the podcast to
6 minutes 45.9. 6 minutes 45.9. Follow us on the socials, and why not check out the YouTube episode where Robert drives a Tesla Model 3 from Copenhagen to Oslo. Now let's get on with the show.
Now, right at the top, because we haven't done one of these for a bit. I've got two apologies of the week.
Oh gosh, already?
So I think that's it. Yeah.
Throw them in.
Well, it's basically, I should start by just having a general apology for my entire existence. That's one.
Don't do that, because then I'll have to sort of back you up with one as well. And I don't know what I'm apologising for yet.
No, you don't need to. Bobby's made a boo-boo-boo-boo, a boo-boo. Bobby's made a boo-boo, and that just means one thing. It's guilt time, guilt time. Everyone's got to feel guilty. Oh yes, Bobby's made a boo-boo, and that's all right. So the two things that I said that were wrong were when I did I can't even remember what it was. A news episode where I was trying to
Tesla Model 3 price.
About the Tesla Model 3 price and the fact that there isn't really a $35,000 one, except it's actually so I said it was the 45. I didn't even know about this. There is a $39,000 Model 3 you can buy in America now, like anywhere. If you want to buy one, you can get one.
Yeah.
And the $35,000 Model 3, which some people are having because they ordered it in time or whatever.
Oh, are they like early orderers, or did they get a referral code?
They might have got rid of however they did it anyway. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to stay on the mic. And
Did they cut a coupon out of a gardening magazine? That's usually where you get all the discounts.
It was a gardening magazine aimed at the over 65s, and there was a little coupon you can take to your Tesla showroom. But anyway, so they got a $35,000 model, which was actually a $39,000 model with software limitations, reduced range, no Spotify.
Okay, that'd be fine for me. I don't use it.
And no heated seats, even though the seats have seat heaters. You can't turn them on. Yeah, see,
that actually would be a deal breaker, because I think in an electric car in a country like ours, an arse roaster is.
Yeah, I don't like them. They make me think they make me think I've got piles.
But the thing is, if you did have gypsy smiles, they really help. You see?
How rapidly have we gone off topic?
Oh, anyway. We just absolutely kamikazed into.
But my good lady wife loves nothing more than a good seat heater. She loves it. She always jacks it up max.
As does mine.
Yeah.
My Mrs. Smith, I actually ordered a new car for the first time, and I had to pay quite a lot extra for the heated seats because it was part of a whole other package.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's grouped with about 4 other extras which I didn't really want.
Right.
Annoyingly. But I think I would. I said it before. I think I'd want a proper vanilla flavoured base Model 3 if I got one.
I mean, 39,000 isn't like, in the grand scheme of things. If you're buying a car for 35,000 and you can get one that goes further, has heated seats, has Spotify, and all the other gubbins that it's got for 39, we'll go for the 39 one. In a way, if you're going to do it, lease it.
Exactly. If you lease it, or if you do buy it, you have to think about residuals.
Yeah.
Residuals. It's so
You've got to
important
remember your
these days.
residuals.
You're not buying for yourself. You're buying for the next person.
Bobby's made a boo 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 a boo boo. Bobby's made a boo boo, and that just means one thing. It's guilt time, guilt time. Everyone's got to feel guilty. Oh yes, Bobby's made a boo boo, and that's all right. But the other one that I was corrected on Twitter, and correctly, and I was also corrected on Patreon, and I was also corrected on YouTube, was that I said that I wasn't going to apologise for being prejudiced against internal combustion engines.
Right.
And I was told, no, you're not prejudiced, because that's prejudging something you don't know about.
Yes.
Whereas,
prejudge.
and obviously I do. You know, if there's one thing I do understand, I can describe and even do drawings. It's how an internal combustion engine works. No, I'm not prejudiced. I'm biased.
Yes.
So I'm apologising for saying prejudice when I meant biased.
Yes.
Because that's when you make a decision. They are different. When you make a decision about something that you know something about, then you can have a bias against it. So I'm just correcting.
I think you're
that.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, you there are some pistons you appreciate.
Oh, no, it's not. I don't appreciate them. I appreciate them hugely.
Yeah.
Because I still have. I think it's something we have to do. Is we have to record an episode of Fully Charged from your Dodge.
Do you think?
Yeah, I just want to have a go in it. Yeah.
Well, let's do it. I mean,
Yeah. Somehow we should do something where we discuss, or we go and see someone that is talking about the.
is it my fully charged dirty secrets?
Yeah.
Like After Dark. you know when they do a grubby version of Hollyoaks and it goes out at 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's that
Never
one.
quite understood those, but
We can release it late at night so young children don't see it the following morning when it's on. Oh, damn.
It is it's the yin and the yang thing, though. I do maintain it's when that car of mine, the old muscle car, it doesn't do more than
Yeah, what do you do in a year?
1,500 miles
Exactly.
a year,
Exactly.
2,000 miles at the most.
No, I mean, if that was if we all drove electric cars and there were 20,000 people who had amazing old internal combustion engine cars that they had, that they used because they love them like you do. I've always said that. That doesn't make any bloody difference. That's.
It's like a reward fuel burn rather
Yeah.
than a necessity fuel burn.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
your everyday schlep to work.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
stuff
your overall petrol consumption per year has dropped so dramatically in the last, say, 5 years since you've been driving plug-in hybrids
Yeah.
and electrics.
Yeah.
If you imagine how much fuel you would have bought to do all the driving you've done in that time, would have been, it's the big picture one.
It's the
that we
bills.
are
It's
hoping to
my
change.
credit card
Yeah.
bill, which I've noticed.
Well, right, yeah, no, it does.
Because
make a difference,
it would have been Shell, BP, Shell,
Yeah.
Shell, BP.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and now it's not. It's actually a bit of an event when I go to a fuel station.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to go and fill up. Get me.
But the other thing I really wanted to mention, just because it's been on my mind a lot. So I've been trying to write this thing, a blog post for the new webpage, which is currently called Greta Thunberg and Flying. And it was very much about. So Greta is the 16-year-old girl who's currently in the Houses of Parliament, I think, today in the UK, who is the 16-year-old Swedish climate activist that started the school strikes and got a lot of people involved in the climate rebellion. Is kind of inspired by her, and she is an extraordinary young woman, and very hard to argue against a 16-year-old who's that you go, well, I only fly for work. You should not be flying at all. Oh, yeah, I know, Greta, but it's really difficult.
So she's the one that encouraged the kids to bunk off school,
to
but
bunk
make
off
a
school.
stand.
Yeah, and so
be listened.
So then there's the climate rebellion taking place in London at the moment, which is, for those outside the UK, again, it's been going on for a couple of weeks. There's over 1,000 people arrested. It's been very, very non-violent. I think it's fair to say that. For whatever your opinions about what it's about and what they're doing, it's been extremely good-natured and non-violent, and it has messed up transport in London. But one of the things that did come out of it is the London air monitoring people who work for the local council noticed a tremendous drop in nitrous and CO2 and everything in the
Did they?
around Oxford. So, because there was no traffic. I mean,
Of
Oxford,
course.
and there's no particularly. It's very important to point this out. Diesel buses and diesel taxis. There weren't
Well.
any in the area because they couldn't go anywhere. It was completely blocked off, and the air quality improved so dramatically that I think they're actually almost trying to keep it quiet because it's so obvious. It's such a monster, and I mean, basically, that isn't private vehicles doing that. That is mainly buses and secondarily taxis, and it is it really needs to change.
The diesel London taxi thing. It's just so odd that they're still on the road
It's so mid 20th century, isn't it?
in
Just as
inner
wrong.
London. They don't even
Yeah.
have start-stop. I mean,
No,
come on.
They are disgraceful old.
They are disgraceful old pieces of
Yeah.
shit. That's
But
what they are.
But the thing that got me, and I don't want to go on about it too much because, God, sometimes on Twitter I get called a lovey, which is very funny, because I've met a real lovey, and I'm so unlike her in this case. And the one I'm talking about is Emma Thompson. So Emma Thompson suddenly appears on the pink boat that's in the middle of Oxford Circus to join the climate rebellion and tell people it's time we changed our lifestyles and we've got to live a more low carbon thing. And I mean, I've got huge respect for her abilities as an actress and her achievements on
Yeah.
stage and screen. No dissing that, but she's a bit of a love. And she just flown to London from Los Angeles to take part in the demonstration.
Oh, she didn't.
And of course that got in the press, and immediately it gave the press that are scorning this attempt by people to just suggest we might turn it down a bit.
I think
completely undermined it in
Well,
every way possible.
The problem is when stuff like this happens, when high-profile people who are very wealthy get very passionate about certain subjects. This happened a lot to Bono over the years, for example, and George Clooney maybe nowadays.
Yeah.
A lot of people find it upsetting because it's like, well, you live a totally different lifestyle. You're not on the shop floor. You don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
You're not on the bread line, and I do get that. But their heart is in the right place.
No,
It's
absolutely.
Just that
It's not.
just the way in which they go about it isn't always the right way.
No.
You almost want to PR these people a little bit.
Yes.
Take them to one side and go, look.
You've
If you want to tell people to stop burning fuel, you've got to understand that you've just flushed a load of plastic bags down the lav, and you've just got on a plane and
flown across the world.
That's my personal view.
But yeah, I mean, I suppose the thing is, and it's also that thing of the organisers and the people involved in that event, would have been so thrilled to have an Oscar-winning actress turn up to say she's going to speak for them. And I almost want to talk more to them than to her, or to, because it's her absolute fundamental human right to have those opinions and to express them. I've got no problem with that. But the unawareness of the bigger picture, it might be a bit of a problem. But I want to say to those people organising it, it doesn't necessarily help. To have someone who, with that higher profile, that is immediately going to get in every newspaper in the country, is going to get on the TV news, all those things, you think, oh, that's good, that highlights the issue we're campaigning about. But the flip side is precise. It was such a good example of that backfiring. The Daily Mail didn't run with a story about clean air in London or climate change or pollution from vehicles or anything like that. It ran with a story that a very wealthy Hollywood actress flew to London, and I'm guessing she didn't fly economy. I don't know. I don't want to accuse her of anything.
I mean, I'm guessing. Let's hope she didn't fly private.
Yeah, I don't think she did.
Let's just hope that.
I think it was a scheduled airline. Anyway, that was just
but what
one
about,
of those
things. But I'll tell you one person that this never benefits for. I don't think it does him any favours. Is Russell Brand?
Yeah.
I think it sort of damaged his reputation from his activism.
Yeah,
personally,
it's so hard, isn't it? Yeah.
So but he's totally entitled to voice his opinion and use the influence he has to try and improve matters as he sees fit. But
I think it is pertinent to Fully Charged in the sense that in general I haven't and we don't discuss things like climate change, partly from my point of view, partly because I don't understand it well enough. I've actually looked into and read a great deal about localized air pollution in cities, and I've spoken to scientists about that, and interviewed people that do air quality monitoring, in fact, for another TV show. But, I sort of feel I understand the gist of that. I know what an engine produces. We all know now that the motor manufacturers cheated on those things and are still cheating and are doing anything they can. All those arguments, I feel I'm on secure ground that I can argue my case. If someone says, it's not true, diesel's really clean, I can go, well, actually it isn't. I can sort of, whereas with climate change, I can't I don't want to get involved in that. And also, I can't make a stand about that. I can make a stand. I won't drive a diesel car. So I've got an electric car and I don't use diesel. And I can be critical of that from a standpoint of someone who's made those changes in my life. Because I had a diesel Land Rover for years. So I have had them and I got rid of them. Whereas I still fly. We fly to do filming. And that's the whole thing about flying.
I'm flying this week,
Yeah.
and it's very difficult to know what to do with regards to flying.
It's really hard because you and I, for example, will fly more than the average person in this country who's got a proper job and works in has a proper job.
Job.
And there's certainly people who fly a lot more than we do, but we do fly quite a lot. It is quite a regular experience. Yeah. I'm actually going to Paris this week, but on the train, so I'm feeling very smug.
Love the train.
Yeah,
really love the train.
It's so
when
much
it
easier.
Works.
Yeah, when it works, it's so much easier. Yeah, but that thing is a real problem. So that's why I couldn't go. Not that I would get the kind of attention that Emma gets, thank goodness. But I could have gone and sort of held a placard. But I just think, Christ, I've just flown this year alone. I've used about 5 years worth of my carbon footprint from flying. That you can, and I've reduced the amount of carbon I produce in my home by, probably 60%. But that's nothing. That's a short flight to the Isle of Wight. It's just not the same.
I'm going to try and do that myself. Yeah. I'm actually looking at timber framed houses as we speak.
No, really good. I'm really all for it. No, and it's such a good project you're doing. I think it's great. No, it's very good.
Blimmin' hope so, Robert. Blimmin' hope so.
Oh my God! Because if not, in 3 years you'll be living in a tent.
Yeah, I will. I'll be living in a tent. I will, but I'll probably still be driving a plug-in.
Yeah. It'll be quite a big tent with a plug-in and a Dodge parked next to it.
Yeah, if I could afford it. Yeah, if I can.
Yeah.
If I can. Do you know what? I want to just, if it's possible, I don't know if this is a podcast first for anybody, but I'd like to hand out a digital rosette.
Ooh.
If possible.
Yeah, let's do that.
Just because I think credit where due. Yes, it gets criticised by lots of people, but the Jaguar I-Pace has won a historic treble award, 3 awards at the 2019 World Car Awards event that was held in New York last week.
Wow. That is amazing.
It's won the coveted 2019 World Car of the Year, the World Car Design of the Year, and the World Green Car Award. And that is, I think, that has never happened. It's unprecedented.
Wow. Oh, well, big hats off to Jag. No, I think it's a brilliant car. Off,
yeah, at the New York International Auto Show, it's swept up, and I think, credit where due, that's pretty difficult, and that's, a tough panel to impress. But they've done it. And there you go. Think what you want about the car. The award speaks for itself.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. Well, and that's in the home of the Tesla. Where there's more Tesla fan people than anywhere else in the world. The fact that it's done it in the USA is brilliant. I think that's fantastic. I do think it is there's we're actually just finishing the edit on the I-Pace driving around the Netherlands. It's only taken us 6 months. We're right bang up to date, but it's a really good show, and there's some really good conversations you and I have. I've forgotten in the car, when we go through, it's the pros and cons of it and what it is, because I love driving that car. It was really really enjoyable. I love it.
It is an exceptional piece of work, I think. We won't put out any spoilers.
No, it's a good show.
It's not quite as sort of hard hitting as a Marvel based Hollywood blockbuster.
No,
but
it's close.
Nevertheless,
it comes a close second.
It is bloody close. You're absolutely right. It is close, and it's up there with Coachella being sponsored by BMW for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I've just read about.
Yes.
And the music artist Khalid or Khalid, I don't
Right.
really know.
No.
Khalid, anyway.
Yeah.
He's done some collaboration with BMW i and done an i8 in quite a bad
Yes.
a bad paint design, I would
It's
say.
not the most beautiful job. No, it does look a bit odd.
I think is it an airbrushed wolf on the side of it? I think it's an airbrushed wolf.
It's either that or it was some very, very colourful but slightly off food products that he'd had the night before, and when he heaved up over the window, it just splattered down the side of the car. It's not entirely clear.
It's to embody, the artwork embodies his new album, Free
Oh,
Spirit.
I'm sorry. Oh, I should
And
not
the
have
road to
been
Coachella embodies the free spirit mentality of this event.
Oh.
Yeah. But you know, the problem I have with that is that it looks like a really seedy van from the 1970s, which you'd expect dream catchers
Yeah.
and mermaids clutching swords and that kind of thing. Which, I hasten to add, I would love to do the artwork one day on your Nissan Leaf. And make it look...
on a similar look. Yeah.
I would love that.
I know, I'm being very cruel. It was just I didn't see. I'm looking at it a bit more closely now. It is obviously a beautiful piece of work of art. It's just
Well,
the
the car's
doors.
great.
The car's great, and
It's the
doors,
BMW i8 Roadster, which in
Roadster,
fact
which is coming,
I
which is
think
another episode that we
my
recorded.
review of that car is coming out
It's coming
imminently.
out
Which
very imminently.
yeah,
That's-
sorry for the wait,
Yes,
folks.
taken a little bit of time, but no, that is very. That's very. I'm impressed with his.
I could see you at Coachella. What would you turn up to Coachella
Oh
in?
my goodness! Imagine.
What would you turn up? I would turn up to Coachella in a Peel Trident. You know, the tiny electric bubble car.
Oh yes, that would be good. I mean,
With
I'd
the
like
dome
to.
top.
Yeah, something like along those lines. Or there's actually a very eccentric. I suppose he's an engineer that I've met a few times who was considered to be a judge on Scrap Heap, but then the producers changed their minds, and I'm very glad they did, because he's on the very edge of what is publicly acceptable.
Hang on, I think I know who you're talking
Well,
about.
and he's built an amazing electric assist bike, but I mean, it
Yes.
really does look like it was built in a shed. It's all held together with not like high-end automotive tape, sellotape and string.
Yes.
And it's got a kind of
Yes.
Perspex bubble over the top. I mean, it goes like stink. It works, but he is very eccentric, and he wears sandals.
Are you revealing his name? I'm not going to.
No, because I don't know his name. I have known his name. It's thankfully one of the advantages of having a memory like a goldfish is if I'm being rude about someone,
I think there's an
genuinely can't
electric
remember
motor named after him.
their name. Oh my god, he's clearly a genius guy. He's not.
He is a genius.
Yeah. But he's
Socially quite awkward.
yes, quite awkward,
Should we say that?
and really
Yeah.
could have done with just the most casual manicure work on his feet when he was. Because it was in the summer when I couldn't stop looking down. It was just shocking. Just some really shocking
I bet in winter he wears a fleece
and no
with
socks. Still wears
with
sandals.
A dog, a design of a dog on the back of the fleece. You know those ones,
Yeah.
like a Dalmatian or something.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
The one I was interested in the Rivian story, because we're hopefully going to go and see them soon in the United States of America. Obviously, we will go there by rowing boat.
I
across
don't.
the Atlantic.
There's no other way I would consider.
But it's the
No other
fact
way.
that they're doing. What is it? How many is it? Six new products by 2025.
products.
But it's not
Yep.
entirely clear. I think they're all going to be big trucks and SUVs. Which I thought that argument was quite good because they're so popular in America, and trucks and SUVs burn more fuel than cars, which is very true. So if you could transition one segment
Yeah.
of the road going,
Sorry, I just burped then,
machinery
and
would be good.
it was a quiet burp. I don't know if the microphone caught it, but I'm very sorry. Just wanted to. Just wanted to immediately admit to that.
I was just sailing over it. I wasn't going to be rude.
You're very good. You're the bridge over the troubled water. In fact, Rivian have said one of the 6 vehicles by 2025 might not necessarily be a vehicle.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Okay, sorry, 6 products by 2025.
Yeah.
One of them not necessarily a vehicle.
Not
in
necessarily
inverted
vehicles.
commas.
Yeah, don't know what that means. Because I mean, if it's not a vehicle, was it a boat? I suppose would a boat doesn't count as a vehicle, or an aeroplane doesn't count as a vehicle?
Well,
I mean, is a vehicle a
yeah.
land travelling machine? I suppose.
no, a vehicle is a boat.
Yeah, it can be, can't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it can be, because you just got me a little bit excited then.
Yeah.
Thinking, imagine that, some Rivian style rib
Yeah.
that's made out of recycled neoprene wetsuits or something.
Yes.
That'd be amazing.
Not a bad
That'd be
idea.
brilliant.
But it's also that thing that it's a $700 million funding round with Amazon. So Amazon are their lead investor. I mean, I think we've discussed this
Wow.
before, but
Yeah.
that is quite a lot of money, isn't it? I think. Is that a lot of money to set up a car factory, though? I imagine is a $1 billion project, but they seem to be doing. They got a free or a very cheap factory.
Yeah, the old Mitsubishi plant, yeah.
Yeah.
So before the funding round closed, it was clear that Rivian was in talks with General Motors.
Right.
Sources, according to Autoblog.com, have said that GM would provide engineering and manufacturing knowledge. Rivian would help accelerate GM's move to electric vehicles.
Oh, there you go.
But the two companies couldn't come to a deal. RJ Scaringe, who's the
boss,
CEO
yeah.
of Rivian, didn't elaborate on what scuttled potential partnership. Man, I hope that partnership can come back on track.
Oh, but in a way, it's a really
that
difficult
my
one, isn't it?
reason-
Because in a way, if they can make a successful company, Rivian, without doing that, they're not encumbered by that huge legacy. That's the only plus
Yes.
side of that. But
Yeah.
it's a really difficult one because regardless of anyone's opinions about big automotive manufacturers, they do know how to make a lot of cars.
Yeah.
If you just think
It's
of it in
true.
those terms, that experience counts for a lot, doesn't it? You can really see that.
Rivian hosted a gathering for depositors in New York City recently, and more than 1,200 people showed up in person. Some from Hawaii.
Wow.
As of last year, it's already collected tens of thousands of $1,000 deposits for their pickup and for the SUV, the R1S.
Yeah.
Man. Well,
we know
can't come soon
Duncan
enough,
Jones,
can it?
friend of the show, Duncan Jones, who lives in LA, film director who directed Moon, brilliant film, and two more since then. Of course, I can't remember the titles of them. Has put a deposit on and said we can have a go in his when he gets it.
Yeah.
But then we've got to go to LA
Wow.
to have a go in that. But still, very
Well,
exciting.
we will have to fly there. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we're going to
about
have to
it.
fly
I am
to
gonna
have a go.
fly
now.
there.
But it looks like we've got a test drive looming, which is very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully that's going to happen.
Sono Motors.
Sono Motors, this is great.
Let's talk
isn't it?
Sono.
Isn't it amazing if this happens? Just think of that. I mean, even if just these three work. Tesla took over the GM Toyota factory, I believe it was, in California. That's what it had been built for. I think it was a joint venture between Toyota and GM. Rivian are taking over the Mitsubishi factory, and now Sono Motors taking over the Saab factory in Sweden. I mean, it's quite interesting if those three companies work and they manage to do what they're planning to do. One of them's already done it.
Yeah.
These other two, it's a very similar idea. But I'd actually somehow forgotten about Saab for years until I listened to Michelle Obama's autobiography. Amazing. I'm listening to the audiobook of it, and when she first dated Barack, she took him driving in her Saab. And I could just see she had a yellow Saab. Of course, you would have to. She was a very
class
successful
lady.
lawyer, class lady with a yellow Saab.
Yeah, that is lawyer spec, isn't it?
It is. It's lawyer. It's early 90s lawyer, late
Kind
80s,
of,
early 90s.
kind of
about that time.
conservative lawyer spec.
Yeah.
A thoughtful lawyer.
Yeah.
I was only talking recently to somebody about Saab and really weeping at their demise, really, because I thought with the whole plug-in car thing coming on song now, wouldn't an EV Saab be so perfect? And I know Chinese investors bought Saab, the factory, and have been apparently quietly developing something based on an EV platform. Nobody entirely knows the truth of it. And also, if it did come to fruition, would it be very Saab-y? Because Saabs have always been a really left field choice. People that buy Saabs buy them very knowingly.
Yeah.
Did buy them past tense. And weirdly, the down the road from me in Cambridge, the dealer who services my Chevy Volt, and it was a massive Saab dealer up until its demise, and they still have like the biggest parts collection. And I keep looking at the really late model Saabs, thinking, oh, if that had an EV powertrain.
Yeah.
So Sono Motors are going to be...
Their first production is going to be at the former Saab plant in Trollhättan.
I've been there.
Trollhättan in Sweden.
Yeah.
Oh, have you? Oh, right.
I've
never been to that one. Right.
It's great. I remember driving a Saab around there when it was about -18.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Lovely. Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah, with the top down, I hasten to add.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I had a special romper suit on. Yes.
But they're planning to make 43,000 Scions a year, manufactured in 2-shift operations. So they're churning them out. I mean, it is amazing because we saw that kind of pre-production working version.
Yeah.
But their production model is very similar looking. I mean, it does look, very like the one we saw.
It's a utilitarian car. It's completely the opposite of all of the fancy pants stuff that's out right now, really.
Yeah.
And so you either get it, and you get its kind of clunky utilitarian looks, or you just don't,
or you don't want it,
and you just don't want it. And I really like it. I think it's
thought it was a great car. I thought it was really good. Yeah.
And if it's as reliable as they think it's going to be, and if it does what they say it's going to do in terms of performance and range and flexibility, then I think it will get a round of applause.
Yes.
But and it certainly should in theory sell well in Scandinavia, where there's already a good tax break on EVs anyway. So well done, Sono.
Oh, really good. Very pleased to hear that. Yeah. So hopefully we're going to go at some point. We've been invited to go and see their production in happening. So that would be good.
Well, I feel a Swedish road trip coming.
Well, I think there has to be one
with this very small trailer tent.
Yes.
Because remember, it comes as standard with a tow bar. That car.
It does. Oh, wouldn't that be great?
So can we get some sort of very lightweight, small, intimate Swedish caravan?
Because I love that when I see those, or you see them occasionally being towed around, but when you see them at, what's the big car parts thing in the UK, where you get your wiper blades and...
there's loads.
Halfords, I suppose. Halfords, one of those ones.
Yes,
but sometimes you see the little trailer outside, and you look at it and you go, you can only get like 2 egg boxes in that. Why would you bother to have a trailer that small?
Yeah, it's if you've all decided to bring welly boots with you on holiday.
Supposed to. You can put all the welly boots in the little trailer.
Bollocks, we'll have to put the trailer on. I've actually got one of those small trailers. I
bet they're very useful. Can you get a lawnmower in it? Something
yes,
like that?
You can.
Right, okay.
Get a lawnmower and a strimmer and like an old person's chair. I got given mine by my father-in-law. I'm pretty sure I've told this story before. Yeah, I've been given mine. Mine's a sort of home-built affair.
Right.
It's rough around the edges, but it's fundamentally sound.
That's what you need.
Yeah, and it's like a going to the tip twice a year trailer.
Yes.
That's what it is. But I don't. There's not many. I mean, this is an ongoing subject which lots and lots of fully charged viewers and listeners always bring about. I want an EV, but I want to be able to tow a caravan or a trailer tent or something, or a blooming jet ski or whatever it might be. When can I do that? And at the moment, as far as we all know, it's mostly Tesla Model X, which
basically that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if there's a towing system for the I-Pace. I don't know if there's going to be towing systems for the EQC Merc, the Audi e-tron. So we'll find this stuff out. But there is a feature that we are planning involving towing. Yeah,
towing and second-hand. We've just been having a long discussion about the second-hand electric
buyer's
vehicles.
guide for all of the most popular EVs. That is incoming.
That is incoming.
And it will come out off of the YouTube channel.
Yes,
most listeners should be familiar with. Otherwise, how have you found?
How have you even found this? Well, but people find stuff. They're clever. People are clever, Johnny. They're not like you and me. They're clever.
Well, quite.
I thought it was worth mentioning it's such a lovely and complex debate. The Toyota's electric vehicle mix, hybrid electric vehicle mix.
Yes.
So out of the 279,000 vehicles they've sold in the first 3 months in Europe, Toyota have sold, in excess of 50% of them were their hybrid electric mix, which I think I'm fine with the term hybrid electric vehicle, because it is a hybrid electric vehicle. It's got a petrol engine. So but you know, they are, and that's a year ahead of when they plan to get to that level. So they're basically, I think we have to acknowledge that the self-charging hybrid advertising campaign, which I now realise they've spent some serious dosh on in Europe. It doesn't run in America. People in America apparently don't know about self-charging hybrids yet. They have yet to learn of the joys.
So to clarify, the B you have in your bonnet about this is not that you don't think the Prius is a good car,
no,
or anything like that.
No, it's about the actual.
It's the wording.
It's the wording, and that specific advert was the thing that got.
It's misleading.
Yeah.
Well, Toyota say it's not misleading because you don't have to plug it in.
No,
but obviously the misleading comes across when you go. Yeah, it's a hybrid that self-charges. Like, it's because it's a mild hybrid, rather than being a more efficient.
Well, if you do use the term, then you can use it just as honestly and transparently and openly about plug-in battery electrics with no engine. That's a self-charging. It's self-charging in exactly the same way that a Prius is. That was my argument. So yes. I drive a self-charging electric car, and Toyota Prius is a self-charging petrol car.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I drive a self-charging Dodge Charger because it's got an alternator. It's got an alternator,
and it's got the word charger in the title.
Yeah, and it charges its own battery a little bit as I'm driving along. So, and that's all I'm going to say on that subject. Let's move on to the next one.
I want to move on. Aston Martin Rapide. I know this is getting excited because you're going to go and see maybe something along those lines very, very soon.
That is the plan.
Ooh.
Yeah. In the finished vehicle, a ride in.
But I mean, when it comes to all the other discussions, one, there's towing. Two, when is there going to be an affordable electric car for normal people who just want to go somewhere? And I think we can honestly say it's not this one. It's not the Rapide E.
It's not this one. This is one of your Halo cars.
Yeah.
So it's out with the regular V12, in with a 65 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Yeah, that was
made with Williams.
Yeah, but that was the thing that I was intrigued by, that it was a 65 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is actually on the small side for this segment of cars. Because I would have expected 80 to 100 in a car of this cost, of this quality, of this everything. And it's quite interesting. I mean, it's clearly the way they've packaged the battery is going to be slightly different. It's not going to be it sounds like it isn't a skateboard, a straightforward skateboard, big slab underneath. I think
we will find out, because if it uses the architecture of the existing Rapide, the monocoque, then it will have been designed for a V12.
Yes.
So they'll have to be clever with the way they
repurpose
the space.
So this is essentially, because you could buy. Can you buy? Because I don't know enough about Aston Martins. Where you're very much in need. You could buy a car that really, really looks like this one a lot of the time, except it's got a V12 in it.
Yes.
Ah, right. Okay.
So this is it will be styled differently frontally and at the back. I think I mentioned this in last week's podcast.
Yeah.
But you've been able to buy a 4-door Aston Martin for quite a while now, and it's called the Rapide. It's the only 4-door Aston Martin.
Right.
I borrowed one for a wedding once.
Right.
It's not hugely relevant.
Yeah.
But yes, and they're all exclusively V12, naturally aspirated, big,
right,
old dinosaurs, proper Cheswick.
Yeah.
So now I presume that the underpinnings of this car are V12 engine and gearbox and fuel tank out, and motors, rear-wheel drive electric motors, and battery pack and controller in.
Yeah.
But we'll find that out very, very soon.
Yeah. Yes.
Very, very
which is
soon,
very, very good.
Very soon.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting. Very, very exciting.
Now, this podcast isn't free to produce. In fact, it's quite expensive and time-consuming. So now we feel the time is right to start having a couple of adverts on the show. So if your product or service or brand has a good sustainable message and you'd like to reach out to us, please drop us a line at podcast@fullychargedshow.com.
This one is a kind of obscure story. It comes from this year, though, and I don't know that It's just because I went to that. I think I've talked about that on the podcast. A battery materials conference in London a few weeks ago.
About this, yeah.
But this one, it is just the constant increase in energy density. So in the near term, the capacity of lithium-ion batteries will continue to increase by around 7% annually. And when you hear 7%, you don't think that's very much. But if you look at that over 3 or 4 years, that's an immense increase. So you've got a battery that's the same size, the same weight, but it has, in 3 years' time, 21% more energy density is a big change. Because it's basically, this is a story. Wow. This is a story from Lithium Ion, the LMC Automotive Consultancy Group. Took me a while to know what they do.
Ooh, so LMC-auto.com.
Yeah. And they do OEM solutions, industry solutions, and they do analysis of trends in transportation. So yes, in the near term, the capacity of lithium-ion batteries will increase by around 7% annually, being driven in advances in anode and cathode materials, and to a lesser extent by battery pack design and control. But the thing that they're all going, because this is what all the people are going on about, is that this is fine for the next sort of 3 to 5 years. We will see constant increases in energy density and constant decreases in cost, and that is holding up at the moment. But they're predicting that the change is going to come around 2025, which is when we get the next generation of batteries, which will be solid state.
Solid state.
The kind of really big advantage of that is when you're talking about battery life. I think the latest lithium ion, if you look after it carefully, it's got sort of 2,500 to 3,000 charge cycles it can do, which is a huge amount. You're talking 15 years of charging type thing. But what these the new ones are, there's no limitation. There's no upper limit of how many times you can charge and discharge them. I mean, it's millions of times.
Right, so it's a massive jump.
A massive jump, and it will lose zero capacity in that time. So you have a 25-year-old battery, solid-state battery, and it has exactly the same capacity and energy density and abilities as it did when it was brand new. So that So if that is true, that is truly. I'm not going to use the word game-changing because it's annoying.
But yeah, like you say, the advances will plateau in 2025.
Yeah.
And then the solid state battery commercialization will hopefully have taken off by then. And that's good though.
It is interesting that how it's going and how they're.
You can use the term game changer.
I think you can if you use it in the right context. Yeah, I don't want to use it too many times. It is a bit of a cliche. It's a bit of a cliche.
Now there's something I want to just shoehorn this in.
Yeah.
It's a vehicle that came out at the New York Auto Show last week.
Yeah.
It was a Chinese electric sports car called the Quantu K50.
Yeah. What the hell is this thing? Yeah, Quantu K50.
Yeah, the Quantu K50 by Mullen.
Right.
Was shown off. A pretty cool looking thing. Now. Mullen Technologies is a Californian-based electric vehicle manufacturer.
Wow.
Who is Quantu? Well, Quantu, I think, is a subsidiary of CH-Auto, which is a leading automotive design and manufacturing company in China. Right. Best known for its new electric vehicles, as well as the development of traditional cars and military stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're in bed together,
right?
And they're building this K50 sports car, which I'm pretty sure is 2-seater.
Right.
Yeah, it's all aluminium.
Very sleek looking.
It's carbon fiber body panels. Yeah, it weighs the carbon fiber body panels weigh just 46 kilos.
God, that's nothing, is it? That's amazing.
No, it's nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. So I'm kind of again, it's one of these high-end 430 odd horsepower dual motor 4-wheel drive, one on the front, one on the rear axle.
Right.
Looking good though.
Yeah.
It's looking good. And again, this technology, I guess, will trickle down into more realistic applications.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just reading. I'm quickly looking to see if I can find the battery spec.
But it's just extraordinary the density of these announcements. I've never heard of
There's
Quantu.
loads.
And I also haven't heard of the American Mullen. I've never heard of Mullen. I'm sure they sound a bit like they've been established for a while, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
Were you aware of them prior to this announcement? I'd never.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't
Right.
actually. The Quantu K50 has a unique in-car air circulation system powered by the roof solar panel that will automatically start after the temperature rises to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, I presume.
Yeah.
This provides a comfortable driving experience. Okay, so it
Nice.
uses that to create the air conditioning rather
Yeah.
than the battery pack.
Using the battery pack, very sensible. Yeah.
That is totally logical.
Yeah.
Totally logical.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we are at a time just like at the beginning of the 20th century, where
Yeah.
there are loads and loads of
Yeah.
cottage industry cars.
It's extraordinary how that's
manufacturers
happened again, isn't it? Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
very similar.
Yeah.
Because the other one, we did talk about the Karma. I just noticed that one, the Karma, whatever it's called.
Karma Automotive,
Yeah.
based in California again. Because obviously we had the Fisker Karma, which we
Fisker,
mourned
that's
the
sorry,
loss
yes,
of.
yeah. Oh, so wait a minute, this isn't a Fisker Karma, this is just a Karma.
Well, I don't know whether they. I think they've.
It looks a bit similar to the one I did see one.
It looks like, but I don't know if because old Felix was it Felix? What was his name? Fisker.
Heinrich
Fisker.
yeah.
I think they've parted, and
Right.
so Karma Automotive and Fisker Automotive
Are two
now
separate things,
I
right.
think. Yeah.
But that's another one of
I'm
those.
pretty
It is like someone could do a documentary in 100 years' time about all these startups and all the people who swap between them. I mean, like the guy who was at Tesla who then went to Lucid, and I don't know what he's doing now. He's lovely, an English car designer. I mean, really good. But they're all jumping around with all these startups and which one's going to work and.
Well, we'll draw up a family tree graphic and do
Yeah,
a
it'd be good,
documentary on
wouldn't
it
it? Yeah, we should do.
in about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, no, it's
I
good.
reckon.
There
With
is
the rate of
with the rate of change is extraordinary, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Now, this last news piece we mentioned this
Right.
about 3 podcasts ago.
Okay. Which one's this one?
Car dealerships trying not to
Oh,
sell
yes.
electric
Yeah,
cars.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. You want to, there's a
No,
Tesla
no.
fire.
Oh, the Tesla fire. We should mention the Tesla fire. It's like if you've watched the footage, it's basically a Tesla Model S in an underground car park. It's just sitting there, and then suddenly some smoke comes out from around the front wheels, and then literally 2 seconds later, it sort of explodes in a
Right.
massive ball of flame. Slightly worrying if you have been parking a similar model in your wooden garage next to your wooden house every night for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience, Robert.
I shouldn't have watched it late last night when it was first revealed. This bit of footage came out of a Shanghai website because it happened in Shanghai. It was a Chinese Tesla Model S. And I kind of got a bit stressy, and then I remembered that I'd left the Tesla parked outside. It's not in the garage, so I went, "Oh, it's all right. If it explodes tonight, I'm fine." It would scorch the hedge. It's not a big problem. But it was slightly worrying, yeah.
I bet it was.
Because I bet
it was.
The argument either way is there's far more fires in fossil fuel cars every year than there are in electric ones by a massive margin. But that's because there's so many fossil fuel cars, But they're generally in accidents. It's not often a petrol car will burst into flames in a car park randomly when there's no one in it doing anything. It was slightly alarming that one did just go woomph.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, there is some stop press news.
Oh yeah.
I've seen a press release from Volkswagen.
Oh.
Who have said that they are taking their IDR race car, the one that did Pikes Peak last year, with the French driver Romain Dumas.
Yes.
Talented guy. And of course, they smashed the record on the Pikes Peak. They are now going to try and break several more records in that car this year.
Wow.
Using some hashtag like challenge accepted. as in not ed, id at the end. Except
id.
id. Accepted.
Accepted.
And they've got in their sights for next month. They want to smash the Nürburgring record outright, which is, it's long been a bit of a willy waving exercise for OEMs. But he's driving it again.
Wow.
The car is still accelerating faster than a Formula One car.
Wow.
And so we're going to see quite a lot of
right. Because the
challenges in the car.
Yeah, the Nürburgring record wasn't that was broken by the Chinese electric. Which one was that? Somebody's Chinese electric car set some new record, didn't it? I thought like last year.
I can't keep track of all the records.
No, they go all the time.
There's different ones.
Yeah.
There's production car, then there's just any old car, which this one will be any old car because it's not a road car.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see how fast it can go and whether it can actually beat the fastest time, which is, I'm just reading it, 6 minutes 45.9. 6 minutes 45.9. So I don't know who currently owns, whether it is that Chinese manufacturer.
Yeah.
Lamborghini took it recently in a road version of a I can't remember the name of the Huracan, some sort of Huracan, which I can't remember the name of off the top of my head. But yeah, let's see if the 850 volt IDR will work.
No, that would be exciting.
Smash some records,
smash a few records
just
would be very nice.
Smashing it out, yeah.
But that last story, I think we should because we go on for so long, it's terrible. But that one, this was a Fast Company article about car. This is a very, very United States focused, but car dealerships put in a lot of work to not sell you an electric car. I mean, it's such a patently obvious thing, but it's also it is a bit baffling. But so they did. What are they? They sent a whole load of. So the Sierra Club, which is a kind of climate change advocacy group in the United States, very long established, not a new thing. It's been there for years. They sent volunteers to more than 300 dealerships around the country to try and buy an electric car, and the results were dismaying to say the least. So and this was like Ford, so big dealership, big Ford, big Chevy dealerships who have electric. Well, I don't think Ford do. I don't know what electric car you'd buy in a Ford. But Chevy,
no.
You could obviously buy the Bolt and the Volt. You could have bought the Volt. Yep. But it's clearly, I think it's a combination of the sales staff in those establishments
don't misinformed and
don't know anything about it anyway. It's not even necessarily kind of deliberately negative. They just don't know. So they go, and they're being asked an awkward question and they're at work and they're going, look, buy the F-150, that truck over there. It's cheap. It's massive. It's got a huge engine. We got loads of them. Buy one of them.
I'm absolutely sure we covered this with the Sierra Club.
Did we? Have we covered this story?
In a podcast. God. I'm sure we have. We'd have to just make a note by that.
Let's not even talk about it.
But I know that in the UK, certainly people have said the same.
Oh yeah, no, the anecdote. We have discussed that. The anecdotal
we've done that
with
Renaults and Volkswagens.
Oh yeah, it's not.
Which is sad. It gives me a sad emoji face.
Yes.
Really, because you've got the product there, but the people at the right on the forefront of it, on the front line, don't really want to get rid of it.
It might, and it also might change. That sort of thing is likely to, it is this whole thing of next year, which I now can't remember. There's a word for it. The change in taxation and the change in incentives around the world. A lot of motor manufacturers are bringing out their cars in 2020 to meet that demand. So that everyone is saying that the ramp up, there'll be more available, there'll be a wider choice. I mean, we know from all the people we've spoken to how many cars are coming out next year. And it always does feel a bit like that. Oh yeah, they're coming out next year. Felt like this year was going to be next year, but now it's definitely next year.
Well, there's a lot going to be out this year too. I mean,
there is going to be a lot out this year,
It depends on the sort of segment that tickles your fancy, really.
Yeah.
But there'll be a lot. There is a lot coming out by Christmas 2019. We will have a lot on the road.
Yes, that's true. And actually, just before we go, because I think it's worth mentioning that, there will be a great deal of these models on display at Fully Charged Live. That's a segue, Johnny.
This is true. I love that. That was absolutely...
that was so professionally done.
It was like bonded silk. So smooth. Like iron-on silk finish badge.
Yeah. So just have a look at. We'll put the link on. I'm not going to go on about it now, but it's really exciting. Look, we've had what's been really good behind the scenes is all the things we were anxious about. Are we going to get this? Can we do that? It's all basically they've all come back now. Everyone's sort of gone. We're doing Fully Charged Live. Let's get going. You can have these cars. So there's going to be a lot of cars there. Loads of, amazing stuff from Annie and Kevin at Electric Classic Cars, and Richard and all those people are bringing some brilliant cars. So there's going to be a lot of
electrified old stuff. Yeah,
brilliant electrified old stuff.
All of the new electric cars
all the new
you
electric
can buy
ones.
on sale going to be
No, it's going to be good
for you to try before you buy.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Around the Silverstone track, which is cool.
It's very
I
cool.
think it's cool.
Cool.
I've even heard some murmuring
Well,
about a classic Aston Martin turning up.
ooh. Well,
Yeah.
one wouldn't want to go wouldn't want to promise what one couldn't deliver, but yes, I've heard those murmurs.
But these murmurs off the back of the Fully Charged episode on the DB6 electric. Rumour has it, as Adele sings in one of her hit records, that car could come and have a play at the event.
Right. Oh, very good.
Which would be nice.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
would be very good. It would be very good. Yeah. It would be in very good company. So, so if you're at all interested, then go and have a look at the link. It's all very good.
Weirdly, at Fully Charged Live, I think I'm going to spend most of my time poking around solar panels and heat pumps.
Well, you've got a reason now.
Yeah.
And they're all there. All those people, all the building people. It's fantastic.
I'm almost going to probably switch my car brain off and wind up my house related brain, home brain.
Because there's I don't know why, but I've long wanted, since I went in one, I've long wanted to have a rammed earth building, just because I can say, when people say, "Oh, what's it built of?" I go, "It's rammed earth." So there's, I just want to and I want to have a go ramming some earth. I don't know how you do it, but this is there was a building I went to in Wales where none of the materials in the wall came from more than 100 metres away from where the house is, which is just like that's cutting down your transport costs.
And that's what
it looks like concrete
soil.
It was painted. I think so. I don't even know. I think it's mixed in with stuff. I don't know. But it was like a big, chunky concrete wall. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It was painted, so not like silky smooth finish, but it wasn't like a pile of mud. That's what I want to say. And it's very weatherproof. It's very long lasting. It must have some sort of coating on it. I think it isn't just, if you scratch it, it isn't like there's some weeds and an old bit of root in the earth. It doesn't look like earth. It looks like a building.
It's not well rotted horse manure. You always see badly painted signs in the countryside saying well rotted manure.
Well rotted. Oh, I love a bit of well rotted manure. Yeah. Or very cheap.
Well, how do you collect this stuff? And
well,
you don't put it in the boot of your car.
Our neighbour. No, you wouldn't want to. It's quite pongy. Our neighbours have a mountain of it that we're allowed to use. So in fact, last weekend we were dressing some roses with a bit of rotted horse manure. Yeah. Well, when you say dressing, you put it around the bottom. You don't dip it on the leaves or anything.
I was going to say you don't flick it all over it.
Although when I was coming back up, that was a wheelbarrow full, and I misstepped a bit and missteered the wheelbarrow, and it did a bit of tippy leaning. So there is a small pile of very, very good quality manure right by our gate.
Like a wheelbarrow high side, isn't it?
Yes.
I've done a high side of a wheelbarrow.
You can do it's that thing. I just thought I could get it round past the gate, and then it just went tippy over one side. Not fatally, but it was just that moment where quite a lot of stuff went onto the ground, and that was not a good moment. Oh, dear. It's very embarrassing. It really hurts your back when you haven't been digging. I dug up a huge amount of beautifully rotted compost that we've had for years and spread it on my veg patch.
It's massively physical.
Yeah,
massively physical.
I do not need to go to a gym for quite some time. I've done some serious workouts on that. Yeah, but it's good. Anyway, that's enough. It's not fully gardening.
No, this is all the time we've got, I'm afraid, as they say on the old television programmes.
Yes.
I'm afraid that's all the time.
That's all the time we've got.
What did they say?
Yeah, I'm afraid that's we've run out of time. We've run out of time. Yeah.
They just apologise and then go.
Because wouldn't it be good because we're now at 59 minutes 44? It'd be great to get it in under an hour. Let's try and do it.
Well, thank you very much for listening.
Yes, thank you,
everybody.
And tune in again next week when we'll be back with the Fully Charged Show podcast. That's all from me, Robert Llewellyn,
and from me, Johnny Smith. Goodbye.
Boof!
I reckon just to piss you off, you're going to let it run for 5 more seconds.